Welcome to The Explainer. Listen, I'm absolutely thrilled you're here because today we are fundamentally changing how we look at commercial wall murals. As an expert in commercial spaces and architectural finishes, I can tell you right now that we are way past treating wall graphics as just some cute aesthetic art project or localized decoration. We are looking at them as a critical facility and operational strategy. If you manage real estate, healthcare facilities, or corporate campuses, pay attention because the way you put imagery on your walls directly impacts your bottom line.
So let me ask you, what is the true cost of your wall graphics? It is so incredibly easy to just glance at an invoice from a printer and think, okay, that's my final number. But I really want to challenge that assumption today. Have you actually considered the unseen costs of operational disruption? Like what happens when a multi-day installation forces you to completely shut down a busy hospital corridor? Or when dust and fumes when you literally have to pull the fire alarms offline just to get a vinyl wrap installed? The true cost goes way, way beyond just the ink and the material.
And that brings us to this absolutely core principle. Visual communication in commercial spaces is a facility strategy. Quick, seamless installations have completely moved from being this nice-to-have design feature to a core operational strategy. A fast, clean install actually protects your daily revenue. It massively reduces the headache of coordinating with security and cleaning staff, and crucially, it keeps your tenant onboarding perfectly on schedule.
Section 1. The Teardown. Myth-busting the old way.
Okay, let's dive right into this. For decades, the industry has leaned on methods that honestly just don't hold up to modern operational demands, and it's time we expose exactly why. On the left side here, you have your traditional methods, your standard vinyl wraps and commercial wallpaper. They rely super heavily on adhesives, they leave these glaringly visible seams, they drag on with multi-day schedules, and at the end of their life, they just become toxic landfill waste. Now, contrast that with the modern standard of direct-to-wall printing. It uses absolutely no adhesives, it is completely seamless, it takes under 5 hours for a typical zone, and it is 100% paint-over ready when you're done with it. Traditional vinyl simply fails in high-traffic commercial zones, and honestly, the peeling and the downtime are the biggest culprits.
Let's break down those traditional failures even further. Here are the unseen enemies of traditional wraps. Novices almost always miss these, but as facility experts, we definitely know better. Take a look at that second bullet, dirt and grime trapped in panel seams. I mean, just imagine a heavy supply cart brushing past a vinyl seam in a busy hospital corridor day after day. It catches the edge, it lifts the seam, and boom, suddenly you've got a major hygiene risk where cleaning chemicals and bacteria just accumulate. Not to mention, it's a continuous, frustrating maintenance headache.
Section 2. The superior alternative. Direct-to-wall printing. Now, I really want you to view this next method not just as some cool, futuristic piece of technology, but as a robust, performance-based architectural finish that completely sidesteps the vulnerabilities we just talked about. Direct-to-wall printing is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. We are bringing the print head directly to the wall itself. We're printing seamless, photoreal imagery right onto your existing substrates, whether that's painted drywall, CMU block, sealed concrete, or even brick, and doing it with zero adhesives. Because there's no vinyl or paper being manufactured off-site, this method completely removes that agonizing wait for fabrication and shipping. You are totally bypassing the massive supply chain bottlenecks that always plague traditional graphics.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer speed of this technology, which is an absolute game changer. 5 hours. A typical single mobilization install takes under 5 hours per zone. Think about that. There's no panel alignment to fuss over. There's minimal masking required. Your operational disruption shrinks from literally days of headaches to a mere fraction of a single shift.
But beyond just speed, we get a massive structural advantage here. Seam-free execution entirely eliminates those vertical panel joints. By printing a continuous image, the graphic essentially behaves like a physical, stable finish. It literally becomes part of the wall. This is absolutely critical for workplaces, education centers, and healthcare facilities because it is fully compatible with routine, rigorous wipe-downs using standard commercial disinfectants. There's no edge to lift and absolutely nowhere for grime to hide.
Section 3. The executive math. Calculating true life cycle costs. Now, what's really interesting about this is that faster installation only matters if the math actually supports it, right? When we compare scale, durability, and overall ROI, direct-to-wall printing is the definitive winner. It boasts the highest speed at under 5 hours and high durability because, again, there are no edges to fail. Compare that to vinyl wraps taking up to 2 days and being highly prone to bubbling. Wallpaper?
That takes even longer, up to 3 days plus dry time, and carries significant seam impact risks. And hey, even beautiful hand-painted murals require up to a week of space closure and are practically impossible to perfectly replicate across multiple corporate locations. When evaluating vendors, here's what you truly need to look for regarding long-term maintenance. These are your hidden, indirect, and end-of-life costs. Are you actually calculating the overnight premiums you pay your security staff to watch an install crew? What about substrate repair? When vinyl comes down, it often rips the paint and paper right off the drywall. You end up spending your nights and weekends paying crews to steam, scrape, and ultimately haul toxic PVC waste to the landfill. It's an absolute operational nightmare, and it carries some really heavy disposal fees. So the crucial point here is this: direct-to-wall printing offers a paint-over-ready finish. Because there is no adhesive layer bonded to your drywall, end-of-lease restoration becomes just a super straightforward standard paint job. Landlords and workplace teams can drastically reduce their make-ready budgets and turnover times. I mean, there is zero adhesive to strip and nothing to haul to the landfill. You literally just paint over it and you're ready for the next tenant. Simple as that. Section 4, the playbook, scaling your wall graphics. Let's move to how this builds into an actionable expert framework so you can actually deploy this. If you manage dozens or even hundreds of sites, here is your highly repeatable playbook. First, standardized file prep. Second, rigorous surface checks for paint compatibility and moisture. Third, centralized color management. And fourth, on-site test swatches. This rigorous process is exactly how we ensure that a brand's specific corporate red looks exactly the same in a naturally lit lobby in Boston as it does under harsh fluorescent lights in Charlotte. Because we're producing this directly in the field, on-site direct printing collapses the entire fabrication chain into a single mobilization. Real-world fit is guaranteed. The crew literally measures the actual conditions right before printing. This eliminates one of the absolute biggest headaches in real estate, waiting weeks for a vinyl wrap only to discover it doesn't even fit because the architectural walls aren't perfectly square. Direct-to-wall adapts in real time. It's brilliant. A massive part of scaling across a large campus is navigation. These are the expert best practices for integrated wayfinding. As facility managers, you want to reduce visual clutter, right? Stop relying on messy stacks of temporary stickers, clunky plaques, and pop-up signs. Instead, build your wayfinding directly into the printed wall system. Zone your wings or departments by color. Fold your PPE and safety directional flows seamlessly into the corridor graphics. And remember, always complement rather than replace your code-mandated ADA and Braille signage to maintain perfect compliance while really cleaning up the space. Section 5. Expert warnings. Navigating procurement and common pitfalls. When timelines are super tight, it is incredibly easy for buyers to trade short-term wins for long-term operational nightmares. The absolute biggest mistake I see corporate real estate teams make is prioritizing initial unit price over lifecycle cost. Choosing cheap vinyl up front will 100% drain your budget later in maintenance and costly removal. Don't overlook surface readiness either. If you skip a moisture test, your print quality is going to suffer. Don't ignore seam risk in high-traffic corridors. Those are immediate failure points. Don't treat color as an off-site decision without testing ambient light. And finally, never, ever forget to coordinate your install windows with your facilities team to protect egress and daily operations. The writing is on the wall here, folks. The shift from decorative murals to performance-based, no-adhesive wall printing is well underway. The most forward-thinking, leading organizations are already treating wall graphics not as some localized art installation, but as a highly scalable, durable systems deployment. They are baking this directly into their standard operating procedures right now. Which leaves us with this final, absolutely critical question to ask yourselves. Are your current wall graphics protecting your operational revenue, or are they secretly draining your facility lifecycle budget through unseen maintenance, downtime, and end-of-life disposal fees? It is time to audit your facilities and really reconsider how your walls work for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. It's time to start demanding more from your architectural finishes.